G'day, Paul.
Fred, how you going?
Oops, hang on. I can probably hear you now.
They help.
Could be you and me. We've had 10 people register, but who knows who'll turn up. So we'll see.
I saw some comments in Facebook. I think Sally Eston, did she?
No, she hasn't registered.
Oh, okay, because I saw a comment in Facebook. That's what reminded me to come over. So
yeah, no, there's been lots of comments, and did you get a reminder from Zoom?
To be honest, I'm so focused on what I'm doing that I will go to Zoom. I'll go and check now. When would I've got this reminder?
So that's what I don't know, because this is I've scheduled this last week. So according to, and it's like, this is the paid version of Zoom. So it's the first time I've used it to get people in so that they register. And I'm just wondering if it suggests that they send out reminder emails, but like I obviously registered myself and I didn't get one. So I'm just wondering if now I sent out reminder emails, but I was just wondering if Zoom actually did it.
Okay, so I don't think I got either, unless it went to spam. Let me check my spam.
Okay, well, there's a good lesson in there. I better start just sending out reminders via Messenger.
Just realised that was an important document that went to spam. Don't delete it. Oh, no. Move. Oh, that was an important document.
So just as well you check in spam.
I never check spam. I'm only doing this because of you.
There you go. You got value out of it already today.
There we go. Although I think I've already hit him back and said, I didn't get that page, and it looks like he's just resent it anyway. But yeah, we'll soon find out.
So what you do over the weekend? Did you get up to much?
Yeah, we drove all the way down to Kangaroo Valley. Just the kids and us, and the wife, and just needed to get out and out of the house for a while because I've just been locked in. So yeah, it was nice just to get out.
So what you do, like a Airbnb or something down there? Or?
No, we just drove there and drove back.
Oh, okay. So it's just a day trip.
Just a day trip. We were going. We decided to go to Nowra. I thought Nowra was Berry, so I got the little towns all mixed up. Yeah, and then the traffic was really heavy going back, so we decided, let's just go home via Kangaroo Valley. Okay. And we ended up down there, and it was quite a nice little afternoon down there. Had something to eat. The kids played, listened to a little bit of live music. In the courtyard of the pub. So yeah. Welcome,
Gillian. How are you?
Thank you.
I'm not sure how many are going to come in. We've had 10 register, but I'm not it's the first one, so we'll see. It could just be us. But it means that we can cover anything we want to cover, so that will be great.
Yeah.
So how did you find out about us? Just as a matter of interest.
I think I just saw it. Did Vanessa tell me about it?
Vanessa Talbot.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was probably in her group. Yeah. So I messaged, me and Vanessa have known each other for a few years, so she's probably spread the word as well. So.
Yeah, I've known Vanessa for at least 5 years or more now. She was my mentor when I was doing my coach training, and now she's my client.
Well, that's good. That's good. So
yeah. Because I just before Christmas, I got a new phone. And I tried to log into Facebook on it, and I logged out, and I lost my password. And I forgot my password, and so Facebook decided that it was some unusual activity from a different device, and they locked my old account, and I can't retrieve it. They just will not let me retrieve that. I've seen every time I try and retrieve it, they ask for ID. So I've sent that in. then they give me a code to, open my account, and it just takes me back to the same page asking for my ID. So I've had to set up a new Facebook account. So,
it's a big problem, especially when you're relying on, Goliaths like that, to support your business and whatever. So yeah, but you've got a new account up and running.
Yeah. So now I'm having to reconnect with all those people. It's good because I was planning to have a declutter anyway and just let go of some real, old stuff and old pages that I like that weren't even being kept up to date by the page owners and stuff like that. So I was planning on having a good declutter. So Facebook must have decided, well, we'll really help you, but they just were a bit too helpful. So I'm just trying to look at the positive thing of it. And the good thing about it is what I've learnt from that myself that I can pass on to my clients, because as a group admin and VA team manager, those are things that I can pass on to my clients. The one thing I realised was all those clients or those people on Facebook, your connections that you value, and even your clients, make sure that you've got them on an email list. And so if it does happen, you can just bulk email everybody and say, you will get a friend request from me. Here's the link. It is me. It is not a scam, and my account hasn't been stolen. It's been locked. That is one big lesson that I've learned from that, because, I'm having to keep sending people a little bit cryptic personal messages in Messenger, say, I've sent you a friend request. This is me. Just to verify a mutual friend or something. I try and think that they know that it is genuine. So yeah, it's been
I've had a weird one on that happen this week. I'm getting a lot of friend requests accepted, and I haven't sent any friend requests out. So it's interesting, because the people that accepted them, I want to, like, looking at their profiles, I want to be friends with them. So I don't know whether it's Facebook sending them out or who's sending them out, but whoever it is, they're doing me a favor. So it's good. Yeah. So what I'll do, I'll just run, and I'm not sure how many, as I said before, I'm not sure how many people are going to come in. We've had 10 register, but we've got 30%, 40% at the moment. So that's probably a reasonable hit rate. And I only started promoting this about a week ago. So hopefully over the next few weeks, we're going to get obviously more members in, and we'll get more action happening. But what shortly I'll introduce why I actually created a network and what brought me to where I am now. But I'd like to go around the room, let everybody introduce themselves, give us a 30, 60 seconds intro about who you are, what you do, and what you hope to get out of the actual meeting, and the network I'm building as we speak. So Paul, would you like to go first? Because you've done this a few times, and you should have your spiel knocked out of the park.
I've done this with my other business.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
that's right. Yeah. Anyway, so I'm with a company called Live Vantage, and Live Vantage is in the health and wellbeing industry, and they've come up with this breakthrough in health and wellbeing called Pro Tandem, which reduces oxidative stress by 30 to 40% in 2 weeks. So my name is Paul, and I'm with Life Vantage.
Nice one, Paul. Gillian, and I got confused, Gillian, because do you go as Jill or do you go as Gillian? Because
Jill, yeah.
Jill, okay.
So Jill or Gillian, I really don't mind. It's like because of this changeover, I've reverted back to my maiden name, which was Darby, for my Facebook new Facebook account. So that's confusing people as well, and me, because I kept thinking, why am I saying Darby?
Well, and it did, like in the messages, received, I'm going, who is this person? Because then I had to go back to the record, so it was confusing.
So I think in the future I'll just stick with it where but all of my stuff is, my Google accounts that are registered under Hartley, so it's easier to, because it just auto fills it in as Hartley. So yeah,
that's fine. So would you like to just introduce yourself and give us a 30, 60 second intro of what you do, who you are?
I'm Jill or Jillian, whichever you prefer to call me, and I'm a Facebook group and VA team manager, come bit of an all-rounder. So I work with my clients, run their Facebook groups, or manage their Facebook groups for them. So I'm sort of like, I'm the gatekeeper. I keep out all the spammy stuff and all of that sort of stuff. So my clients can then work in their zone of genius and they're not spending their time on the behind the scenes stuff. And and I manage their teams so that they're not chasing their teams up as well for work that needs to be done and checking the work and everything else like that. So in a nutshell, that's basically what I do.
And welcome, Megan. How are we?
I'm
Margaret.
very well, thank you. Welcome, thank you for having me. I am from the US. I'm a New York girl and I'm deep in the heart of Texas. And I have been in the beauty, health and wellness space for my career. I have developed 2 medical grade clinical skincare lines and a luxury day and medical spa, which I sold the asset portion of it last year. Did not sell the product line, the federally trademarked name, Novitas Spa, as well as the website and the URL and the shopping cart. I have been in the business, world of beauty and so forth for many years, working for corporations before starting my own business. So I'm putting together a business and life activation program called Propel to help people start, scale, and sustain the business and life of their dreams. And I'm very active on Clubhouse. That's where I met Fred, as well as I have Facebook page, Instagram, and just out there socially. So thank you guys. Look forward to meeting you all.
Thanks, Megan. I'm actually working with Megan as well. So we go back a few months now and we're kicking some goals in the marketing space. So I'll introduce myself. I'm Fred Gillen. I run a business called More Marketing Ideas. And that's what I do with businesses. I give them more marketing ideas. And I run a digital agency from my office in Melbourne. But today I'm going to talk about why I brought this concept to market, because some of us here on stage will know Missy Henkel, who I'm in her group, and she introduced the concept a few months ago, or she mentioned something a few months ago, and she was selling her coaching programs for $20.21 because the year was 2021. And I thought, wow, that's an interesting play on words. So I do things very quickly. So I quickly built a Facebook group and I called it the 2021 community. And at the moment that's running at about 98 members, and that's probably in about 4 or 5 months. So it's growing. But just before Christmas, I actually decided that I'm actually going to offer a lot more to people within that group. And I wanted to look at what people need, not what I decide they want, but what they actually need. And I'm going to build this group out to deliver those needs for people. And how to do that was to add value. And I had a look around at some of the other networking groups that are meeting, like BNI and Fresh, and they're all moving to an online virtual model, but they're still sticking to their old formats of referrals, tell your story, give a referral, get a referral, and that's it, right? There's no more. So what I decided to do with this group was to use that as the basis. So we'll set up Zoom meetings like this, where we'll have the forum will build over time based on the members' needs, or how we work that out, and it'll all based on their feedback. So one of the questions I'll be asking later is what you want to get out of the group, obviously, and what's your biggest business challenge. And then I will hopefully from my archives have some information that will be able to fill those needs, because like whether it's building business plans or getting listed on Google or you Google my business page, whatever it might be in the marketing space. So that's what I plan to do with this networking group over time. Now, at the moment, excuse me, it's a paid group, and I've introduced a special, as you'll be aware of. Right now it's quarterly. So, and that will be great. Anybody joining at a particular level will stay at that level. So if they come in today, before The 2nd of January, it was actually 6 monthly. So the people that joined in January, or the first day of January effectively, got in at a 6-month subscription. Then I changed it on the 2nd to quarterly. On the 1st of next month, it will go to bi-monthly. So people will pay every 2 months. On the 1st of March, it will go to monthly. On the 1st of April, it will go to fortnightly. And then on the 1st of May, it will go to weekly. So any new members will be paying $20. So the price doesn't go up, because by that stage, the value will increase, because we'll have, the library will be built out. More information will be built out. The website will be built out. It's a skeleton at the moment. There's not a lot there, because I'm not building it in the hope that somebody will come. I'm going to get people to come and build it on their requirements. So right now it's just a placeholder and a skeleton with a basic library. There's a couple of PDFs I've put up there and they're valid, but they're only placeholders. So I'll be, over the next few weeks, I will be adding more content there based on your feedback, right? Because the reason I'm doing that is I don't believe, like, I've got a lot of stuff. I've been in the industry for decades. Me and Megan are similar ages. So, you know, we've been around for a while and got a lot of street smarts that I've learned along the way, and I can bring that knowledge to the table. And I get things done quickly as well, is one of the other things. So, and with that in mind, what I'd like to do is go around the table again and ask, and Paul, what is your biggest issue in your business today? So just pick one issue,
Okay.
whether that's marketing or getting the message out or whatever it might be. It doesn't matter. Business systems, marketing, whatever. Doesn't matter what it is.
Okay, so my biggest issue right now is the supplement I've got. Right, that's an activator and not a multivitamin. So people keep thinking this is a multivitamin, but it's totally not a multivitamin, just in looks. So that's my biggest challenge, is educating them the difference between an activator and a multivitamin.
So that's really explaining your product so people understand it?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
No, I mean,
yeah, go ahead. Keep going. Go on, Paul.
Right now, it's, of course, it's re-establishing myself, because I'm looking like, especially on Facebook, because that's where my main target market is. And it's, for me, I think it's really just showing, getting the clients that I want, which have got the bigger Facebook groups, and just showing them how much time and energy, and of course time is money, if you listen, that I can save them by managing their groups, and so making it so that they can see that it's a worthwhile investment in their group. Because I don't just manage the groups as well. It means that you can, you know, if you need to take a break from your group for whatever reason, and sometimes you just need to take that holiday, you know, just be away from even but be offline for a week, I can keep your group ticking over, kind of in your voice, but at least so your members don't feel they've suddenly been abandoned, and just keep that engagement going in the group. So it's just like explaining in, say, a paragraph what I do, so they can, or what they get, what they're getting out of my services. So what's in it for them.
So what do you do at the moment? Like if you're engaging, or let's say, for example, the scenario of you find this group and it's got, you know, it's a fledgling group, but it's starting out at 200 members or something like that.
Yeah.
So when you contact that group admin, what's your process right now? How do you engage with them, and how do you sell what you're promoting?
What I've been doing is basically, because I'm in Vanessa's group, and she's got a good following and good name. My clients have come from Vanessa's group, so I haven't actually had to approach groups. What I have done is join groups that I would be interested in managing, and I can help those fledgling startup groups as quite easily as well, build their groups and things like that, and in ways that I don't do the, you know, send out 400 invites to people to increase the. I prefer to see the more organic methods. I don't do the cold DMing either. So I haven't really started that, but because this year is like, you know, I'm deadly serious about it all now. I've basically cut my teeth through Vanessa. I've got that confidence. I know what I'm doing, and everything. It's like I'm full on. I've got my goals of what I want to earn this year, of how many clients I need to do that, and everything else. So that is one thing that I have got to look at is going out there and making those contacts with those people in the groups that I want, that I'm also interested in managing for them. You know, I've got certain ideas about what groups I won't manage and what groups I really want to manage. So part of it is coming along to meetups like this, so I can meet other people and you can build that connection, because let's face it, letting someone manage your Facebook group, you need a lot of trust, and you need to feel that you know that person. So that's part of what I am doing, and that's how I would rather. My preferred way of getting clients is by building that trust through networking, through word of mouth, like from Vanessa and things like that, than just approaching people.
Yeah, I think it's all about know, like, and trust, no matter what product or industry you're in. So you've got to build that know, like, and trust with any client. So it's whatever. So Megan, I'll just explain. We're in another group, and it's Vanessa Tolbert's group. She's a coach's coach, basically, and she runs. I'm not sure, but there's thousands of people in it at the moment, I believe.
20. It sits around 19,000 because we. Vanessa would rather have quality members than quantity, than have, 40,000. It could be 3 times that many people in that if we just let anybody and everyone in. So they've got to get past that.
I was fortunate. I got in in the early days, and it was okay. but I'll send you a link, Megan. So it's certainly worth one of the groups. It's reasonably active, and there's a lot of people in there that probably fall into what you're looking at doing. So I know what your issues are because we're on the phone pretty much daily. But would you, for Paul and Gillian's sake, would you just like to tell us what your one biggest issue in business or in the future business is at the moment?
Well, like you said, Jill, I have been in business for a long time, and I had a brick and mortar for 18 years. And so I'm transitioning that. And so 2020, I redid my spa site, which has the shopping cart, and then I created a Megan DiMartino site because I wrote a book in 19 and went to #1 in 4 categories on Amazon January 4th, 2020. And then the lockdown happened in March, and then the person approached me. I do a lot of marketing. I have a podcast called Unique Leaders, but I just started, and Fred assisted me. I just started a Facebook group called Propel Your Business and Life, and I did a masterclass last week, and so I just introduced it, and it has 51 people already. So I'm going to be rolling out this course in January, the start portion module, and so it's really that transition. And also analyzing what I'm going to do with the skincare brand. Will I sell it? Just different things of that nature. So it's a transition time of analyzing this transition.
I suppose the other, and for me, mine, like I fall into pretty much a similar category, because although my main business is in web development and promotions and marketing, my focus for this year is going to be building this network out. And as a byproduct, if I get work out of that on the web development side, well, that'll be a bonus for me. But one of the reasons for that is that I believe by the end of the year, if we get 100 active members, then it'll just snowball, right? Because it'll be like, you know, like a snowball. It'll start off, we get 100 active members, they're all helping each other, referring each other, promoting each other. And then if each of those brings in one new person, then suddenly it doubles. And it's the power of multiplication. So that's my concept behind it. And that's what, you know, when we get rolling over the next few weeks, that's what I'll be encouraging everybody to do. Just bring in one new person a month, right? And if we can do that over the next 12 months, and this will be a really viable network where everybody is helping each other promote their business and get their message out. So that's my game plan. That's my passion for this year. So 90% of my focus will be on that. And it's getting my message out there is probably one of the things. Like I'm probably a little bit disappointed with today's turnout because we had 10 register, right? But everybody's busy. I have set the time at noon here to allow for people in the US, but it's obviously getting my message out there. I need to do a bit of work on that over the next couple of weeks to get more people into the room. And, you know, if we can get 10 or 20 people into every room, then that makes it work. And that's probably what I'm looking at doing, not having 100 people in the room every time. Although if we do that, then the format would obviously change. So we'd have split out rooms, giving people access to, you know, smaller groups. And that's one of the things that we build over time based on people's input. I suppose the other thing, I was speaking to a client yesterday about something similar, and she had a problem with information. And I asked her the question about what her issue was, biggest issue at the moment was. And she was saying that she just doesn't know where people are coming from or how to track people, like what's working, what's not. Because she's doing a lot of promotions. She's doing some Google ads and Facebook ads and whatever else. And one of the things, excuse me, with any advertising that you set up, you must know your numbers 100%, because you can throw money at Facebook ads and you can get some information out of it. But if you don't know that those ads are coming in from Facebook and turning into conversions and then obviously sales, then that could be dead money. And the same with Google ads or anything else, and even your time. So if you're spending time, whether it's on, you know, TikTok or Pinterest or Instagram or Facebook, and you're posting every day, but and there's a call to action every so often for somebody to do something, then if you're not tracking that call to action, you don't know what's working and what's not. And you're spending time on stuff that may be working, or you're spending time on stuff that may not be working. So it's pretty important to actually track your numbers. One of the tools that, if you've got a website, one of the tools that a lot of businesses don't use and should be using, especially small businesses, is Google Analytics to track your numbers. So if you've got a website, you absolutely must have Google Analytics on it. If you haven't got that on, like if I'm doing for research on business and I want a new client, the first thing I'll do is I'll do audits on a number of client sites, or go out and look at sites, and I'll look and see if Google Analytics isn't on the site, and I can tell that straight away. And that's a target client for me straight away, right? Because they don't know their numbers. 100 guaranteed. You just don't know whether people are visiting our website, whether they're going to the sales page, whether they're going to the shopping cart, or whether they're buying products. They just don't know. So that's one of the tools. So, and that's one of the guides I will put up in here about how to set up your Google Analytics on your own website. Yeah. It's not difficult. It's all free, right? It doesn't cost any money. It's just time and effort. That's all it is.
Can I add to that, Fred, with Facebook groups as well? Watch your numbers on there, because you can work out how to bring up engagement. Sometimes it might be throwing in just one of those silly, just a silly question, you know, would you rather brush your teeth with someone else's toothbrush or wear someone else's underpants? Sorry, that's the first thing that came to my head. Not a great one, but that gets engagement going and then brings it up again, which then helps you reach with Facebook. So that's something that I do in the groups as well, is keep my eyes on the engagement, some things like that. Yeah, numbers are so important.
Yeah, so that's you know, the well, from me, like I'm a numbers guy anyway, and it's what I do. My background is project management in corporate, so always look at the numbers and see what's working and what's not. So it's I probably talk about it too much, but it's again, it's one of the things that if you don't know them, and it's the same if you look at your financials, exactly the same. If you don't know what you're spending on outgoings and what's the income, like you know what's I'm trying to remember the phrase. It's like it's something like it. I can't remember it at the moment, but it's about profit and income. And people look at income; they might be earning $1 million a year, but their actual profit or money in the bank could be 100,000. Well, that's a job, right? That's not a business, because an income, an average income for somebody is 100 grand, right? In today's market. So, but if you've got a 10% profit on $1 million business, then it's not a business. You know, you've got to be earning a lot more than that. And especially if you look at that and you're earning it and you're paying staff as well, then suddenly your actual your personal income drops probably by half, because you're paying a staff member $50,000 a year to run your warehouse or whatever it might be. So even from the financial side, it's very, very important to look at your numbers, what you're spending, what the income is, but more importantly, what the profit line is. So that's your real money. It's not what you've got, you know, especially on social media, you get a lot of people talking about, I've got, you know, $1 million business. And yes, they have, but it's not $1 million business in my mind, is you've got $1 million in the bank after the business that's completed that year. That's $1 million business in my mind. So,
Yes.
So Paul, you've been very quiet, mate. Have you got any questions?
No, I've just been listening, enjoying it. So yeah, but when it does come to the numbers, you are so right. You have to know your numbers. And Gillian, whatever you said about engagement within the Facebook, very, very important. I've thrown a few polls up on my stories, just stupid polls. But people like to get involved in stupid polls, you know. I mean, the one was, do you have your toilet paper under or over? Who would have thought that people are interested in that? But I got quite a lot of response from that one. So yeah.
So what's your answer, Paul? Do you have it under or over?
Most people was, the poll's over now, but I think it was about 67 point something were over and 30 something were under. And I've currently got one, which car, Japanese or German? I thought, you know, people preferred the Japanese car. So it's just little polls like that people, you know, get involved in. Great little things. And then they go to your Facebook page as well. So you get a lot of people going there.
I suppose that opens up another question for you, Gillian and Megan. Like, what do you do to get engagement? Like the main thing you do, or what? Maybe let me rephrase that. What tip would you give the other people listening now to help build their business?
I think for me, from what I've learned is to be real. So do things that show you real, or being, you know, a little bit vulnerable or something. Like Vanessa pours it in with her animals because she's a wildlife carer. In another group, the group owner actually shares some of her vulnerabilities. Yeah, it's a very specialist area for highly sensitive people that are extroverts, which is only a small percentage of people, but she is that as well. Plus, she has a health issue which also sort of fits in with that and stuff like that. And she's the one that lightens things up with that one that I mentioned with the posts from her. So it's just finding something that brings out the, I don't know, I think people like sharing things about themselves as well, you know. And so it's finding out what your market like to share about themselves. and then bring that out. Sometimes it could be what's, you know, another one is what's your favorite. I've done is what fiction book has changed your life or your business, rather than non-fiction. You know, there's, let's face it, business building books, you know, there's millions of them. But what about fiction? You know, and they go, oh. Because we're so focused on those business books that we forget. And look, I'm a big reader, and fiction for me is enjoyable. It's an escape, but I also learn probably more from fiction than sometimes I do from the business books, because some of them really, I find really dry. And so those sorts of things, just it's working at your market and maybe just playing a little bit, and then keeping those, and then figuring, okay, this is an engagement post we had. Can we do one every week, or can we do one every month? And how can we can change it up and figure out what they are, and then maybe even then just put them on rinse and repeat from time to time. Another one we use in Vanessa's group was this post is dedicated to all the people in the group who we haven't seen for a while, or something like that. Let us know you're still here, because, you know, we want to know you're okay, or something like that. Oh my gosh, that just went off the rails. That literally went off the rails.
And there's so much that you could do, like with stuff like that, you know, to try and get engagement. And it's exactly what we were saying. Like if you're talking about Facebook in particular, I was talking to Paul earlier in the week, or late last week, whatever it might have been, and we were talking about engagement on Facebook. And one of the things that I'm aware of that helps you warm up the algorithm, and this actually applies not only to Facebook, but to LinkedIn and any of the other social medias. But I've been, it's anecdotal, so I'm, you know, no proof on this, but I believe it works. And what it's about is that you need to warm up Facebook before you start commenting yourself. And one of the ways to do that is to go in on other people's posts, and not just like, because like is great, but the heart button actually is better, or any of the other emojis, because it works out that Facebook actually see you're taking an extra effort by moving across just one little icon, and they see that you've made that effort, so they give that an extra boost in their algorithm. And the other part of that is that if you're actually commenting on, let's say 6, 8, 10 other people's posts, and actually commenting, not just liking, but putting a comment in, again, that's warming up Facebook, saying that you're engaging with other people's posts. So then when you post, they will actually share your engagement, your post, to more people, because you've actually warmed up Facebook. And so that's one of the tips that I would encourage everybody to do today.
And I can tell you something that I learned from losing my Facebook account. When I reopened my new account, I went in and, of course, immediately friended Vanessa, so went through her group and liked. And a couple of other people that friended me, I liked their posts just to let them know, yeah, I'm around and genuine and that. And Facebook banned me from liking for 48 hours because it was spam. They considered it spam. But they allowed me, and it kind of threw me a little bit, because I didn't want to comment too much, because I wondered if I thought that they would see that more as spam. So that was a learning curve for me. And yeah, it does warm people up, and I think you get shown more the more you comment on other people's posts and in other groups as well. They come back to your group.
Yeah, the thing about commenting as well, and you need to actually type in the comment, not cut and paste, because Facebook can actually see that, you know, it took you one, or, you know, minute second, whatever it might be, a nanosecond, to actually cut and paste something. Whereas even if you've got a 10-word phrase that you're saying something, oh, I really like your post, thanks, you know, appreciate the share, they can actually time that and know it would take, you know, 100 nanoseconds to type that. So they actually know that. So if you're just cutting and pasting, you probably won't get shared.
Yeah.
Right? So just another tip. Megan, have you got any tips for everybody in the room, even though there's only 4 of us?
Well, you know, everything that you've just said, Fred, but, you know, I had a very, and I recognize that when I sold the asset purchase, let's just say that, I don't have the full correct database, and it was probably maybe as much because the girls didn't put it in properly. But the bottom line is that I have a decent size database, and I have been very consistent in the last month and a half, 2 months, to do e-blasting, but focusing on specific call to actions and then tying it together with that on my website. And so Monday, this is Tuesday here, Monday we did a e-blast for our regenerative stem cell, and I got an email from it and had a sale. And so bottom line is it's that engagement. And so as I said, I'm working on, and let me be frank, I have about almost 5,000 on my personal Facebook. This past year I started a business Facebook, and I have a spa one, which we just changed the name to Novitas Spa versus the name of the spa. So I'm beginning to work them all together. But when I started Clubhouse I joined this time last year, but when I really got active, which was in April, but not really until June, not really serious, where I was posting on Instagram personally, I now have over 1,000, and I can see that, and I'm tracking the numbers, like you said, Fred. And just last 2 weeks on the algorithms on both of them have gone up a lot, both Facebook and Instagram. And I started doing reels about a month ago on Instagram. So it's that, like you said, Fred, it's that know, like, and trust. And so I'm working them all together. And it's really about consistency and having, what's the word? Not just consistency, but again, back to transparency and clarity and a call to action, not just fluff, so to speak.
And talking about a call to action, I'm going to give everybody a call to action right now. Can you put your contact details in the chat so people can contact you and start building that know, like, and trust relationship?
I have a question for Paul. May I ask?
Sure.
Absolutely, sure. It's an open forum. Go ahead.
I'd like to know what an activator is.
So yeah, that's a great question. So a supplement supplements the nutrients you're not getting within your food, right? Okay. An activator actually creates a pathway to help have the cells become, as you get older, your cells start to break down. The cells in the body start to break down. So by having an activator, it actually creates the NRF2 protein, which actually helps to regenerate the cells.
So basically, like I represent a company called LifeWave, a biotech company, which is has a lot of cellular activity oriented products.
Mm-hmm.
And so how would you, so like X39 is a stem cell activation patch?
So I think I've heard of X39, but I don't know that patch as well. I've never studied, I've just heard of it, if that makes sense. Sorry, I also know that ASEA have their water that's meant to make the cells healthy as well. Yep.
Right.
Okay. But I have looked into ASEA and I have used ASEA, and if it does work, it's an expensive work, if that makes sense, right? Okay. With regards to Protandim, it's fine. So Dr. McCord, who actually came up with the formulation, it's 5 herbs from China and India that he just put together into a special formulation so that it reduces your antioxidants at 1 million antioxidants per second, which sounds impressive, but your body's creating 6 sextillion or whatever a day, right? But when you compare that to having like blueberries or something like that, a blueberry just does it 1 at 1, whereas this Protandim will do it at 1 to 1 million. And that's a big difference is that it's helping reduce the oxidants and the oxidative stress within the cell.
Gotcha.
Yeah. I hope I didn't butcher it. We've got videos that do a better job than me.
No, it's you know, the bottom line of it all is if COVID-19 and all this mess has shown us we need to be our own health advocates.
I don't know your view on COVID-19 and the vaccine and all that, but I fully believe that your body is capable of creating its own anti, whatever you want to call them, to fight off viruses.
Sure. Well, I haven't had a vaccine, and nor will I, and I've never had a flu shot for that matter.
Me neither.
So,
no,
and I'm 71, and I'm 71. So
yeah. Well, I mean, you look good for 71, but I'm 89.
okay. My point is that that's a lot of years of having a flu shot, and I've never had it.
Yeah.
So.
No, and I'm the same. I've never had a flu shot, and I barely get sick.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
I think we're all the same. I mean, I must admit, I have the vaccine, but I won't be getting the booster. And the only reason I had it was I wanted to see the grandkids. It wasn't because I believe in the vaccine. Nothing to do with it, right? And I very, very seldom get sick.
Yeah.
Very seldom. I think the last time I took a Panadol was probably 2 years ago. You know.
My past work was working in aged care and residential care and community care, and it came in about 4 years ago that it was mandatory for all staff to have the flu vaccine. Even though the residents all got it, we had to have it too, which, you know, if they've got it, they're vaccinated, they're protected from it. So why should we? And it wasn't a choice. It was either have it or lose your job. And which I've finished at the end of last year. I've finished working in aged care, partly because there was no way that I was going to have the COVID vaccine, but I ended up having to have it, and horrible reaction to it. And I'm seriously considering going back for the second shot, just because of the way that it's made me feel. And with my son, who had the Pfizer vaccine, he had myocarditis, so he ended up in hospital with a heart rate of something like nearly 180. They were just waiting almost for his heart to explode, and his blood pressure went through the roof. And so he can't get an exemption from having the second one from work because he works in the mining industry. So, you know, they've got to have it. But his bosses have said to them, look, we're fine if you don't want to have it done. And he's just said, well, Mum, I'm just going to have it done. And I said, well, you want to make sure you take a few days off work and just be really careful. And the doctors should be monitoring. As far as I'm concerned, they should be monitoring him. They're not. And so I'm, you know, being his mum, because I live with him, I'm sort of like, I'm really worried about it. And so he's trying to sort of like keep me out of the picture. But you know what? They cannot prove that it was a vaccine. So, and because of that, it doesn't go on to, you know, it's not recorded because they can't prove it was and they can't prove it wasn't.
Right.
But I have a theory because this myocarditis is affecting healthy males in their 30s, which is what he is.
Yes.
However, he's a gym junkie, and I know, although I'm not, you know, that he uses steroids. So my theory is, and he takes, you know, he's always on taking some protein supplement. My theory is that because the vaccine is a protein, that they're the problem. But of course, they're not doing the research. And to me, they should be researching on what are causing the side effects and the reactions to the vaccine as much as they should be on COVID.
But Jill, who should be doing that? Who should be doing the research?
Well, that's the thing.
The same people
You can't trust the companies making it. You can't trust the government. Maybe they need.
You can't trust the media.
And then you've got the independent bodies that do. There are the extremists. It's like this whole COVID thing has divided, not just.
But when you say that, Jill, they're called extremists.
Yeah.
I'm not an anti-vaxxer as such, because I don't know enough about it. But again, I look at the numbers, and I look at the numbers, and at the moment in Australia, the numbers are going through the roof. Right?
Yeah.
Of people getting it, not dying.
Yeah, no, exactly. Like Paul, we've had this conversation offline, and we're fortunately everybody in the room at the moment, but I don't want to get into a vaccine conversation. But I look at it, and I'll just end it with this, but I look at the numbers on all fronts. And when you look at what's happening with the actual people getting vaccinated, since people are getting vaccinated, the numbers are going through the roof. Now, that's black and white to me.
Yeah.
That is so black and white to me. If people weren't getting vaccinated, the numbers were not nice, but they were stable and they were manageable. Now they're not manageable. And not in Australia right now, 91% are double vaxxed, 94% are vaxxed, So I think I'll end the vaccine conversation there. But because I get passionate about it and I don't want it to go down that path.
Oh, look, I agree. And because of my sort of, I suppose, a health background, I've looked at all things. And when I say extremist foods, I'm saying these real, there's, at a scale, there's those that just do what they're told. There's the antis at the other end, but in the middle, which probably most of us are, but we're knowing the numbers and doing that, and we should be allowed to make those decisions for ourselves, not be forced into a decision.
Right, exactly.
100%.
Hey, I just want to share with Paul. I can't swear to this, but I'll get back to you.
Yep.
I have a friend here in the States. His name is Michael Huey.
Yep.
And I think he's a very prominent, I don't know if that's the right word, but I think the company is LifeVantage. When you said about what you said.
That's the company,
Yeah, I'm pretty, no, that's what you said. I want to cross-reference, but he'd be a good person for you to know. How long have you been selling LifeVantage?
So I've only been with LifeVantage 6 weeks.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So I'm relatively new.
Yeah, Paul's a financial planner in real life.
I see. I got you.
But I'm because of COVID and because of I'm not trying to get on the COVID thing again, but because of the way the government's going, I can see basically the government's stolen my business, is stealing my other business. I mean, I got all these income streams that have been stolen left, right, and center, and I'm working 10 times harder to get paid 10 times less. So I've pivoted, and now I've always been into health and well-being. And as I said, I tried this year. It was okay, but I think it's expensive for what it is, for the results you get. I'm happy to pay it if you got the results, but it didn't help my dad's cancer. But the Protandim is something that both my brother and father have cancer, and they just research everything. And they came back and they just, my dad initially said no, and then he did the research and said, yep, I'm on it. So it's very good. But I love to take this offline, and maybe we can have a Zoom call or something and connect to just see how we can work together.
Yep, that's sorry, Megan, you go ahead. Go ahead.
No, that's what I was just going to say, because I'm drinking my ketones right now, and taking have my patch on.
Who's the ketones with? That's with the X39. Oh, isogenics.
No, ketones. The company is Prove It.
Oh.
Get your notepad out.
Oh, I've got it. Prove it. I've tried it.
PRUVIT. You have it? Yes.
I've tried it. Yes, it gave me diarrhea, but I tried it. Yeah.
But no, diarrhea just in the beginning. Keep
Okay.
doing it.
All right. Okay. Well, we'll have a chat offline.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the other thing I'd encourage everybody, just set up one-on-ones with individuals, because it's the only way of building a network, right? Just getting on Zoom calls and saying thanks for being here isn't going to do it. You've got to take action. So, and that's why I encourage everybody to put their contact details in the chat. And I'm not going to say don't spam people. If people put their details in the chat, they want to be contacted. So contact them. Right. So there's no spamming policy in here. If you're in, and that will be moving forward, if somebody is in the meeting and they put their details in the chat, anybody that's in the meeting is free to contact them. So
that's all good.
Yeah.
Fred, can I just say something to Gillian quickly? Just
absolutely, it's an open forum, Paul.
Just with regards to your son, and I just want to say that I know a doctor that might allowing medical exemptions. There's one doctor in Queensland. She's been arrested 5 times or whatever, but she's actually giving out medical exemptions. I can pass on. She's got a Calendly link. So if anybody's interested, I know those in New York can't benefit from it, but those in this group that want to benefit from it can actually set up a meeting and ask all the questions before they decide to go ahead or not.
Oh, thank you. I'll talk to my son and see what he's got to say. But he is a 30-year-old who thinks
they know everything. They're invincible.
Knows everything. So, yeah.
Okay. So before we close the room, I'd just like to ask, 2 questions. One is, what did you get out of today's meeting? And 2, what would you like to get out of the next one? So, Paul.
Okay. Well, it should be ladies first.
Okay, let's change that. Let's say that. So Gillian or Megan, chime in. Paul just...
Well, what I'm going to say is it reminds me, I don't know, reminds is not the right word, but if any of you have ever been to Disney World or Disneyland, it's a big world after all. And I love the fact that I'm sitting in my kitchen in Georgetown, Texas, and speaking to you guys in Australia. So I look forward to God connecting the dots and this expanding to Fred's 100 people all over the world. Oh, and last night, I just want to share this. I was on Clubhouse, and I know it's really rough for you guys, and it's not as yucky here, but it's very scary. And last night on Clubhouse, there was a young man, 24 years of age, and reached out, and he's in Afghanistan. OMG. So let's all pray for all of us.
Yeah. Amen to that.
So, Gillian.
What have I got out? Well, I've met 2 new people, one in the US, which is lovely because that's part of one of my goals this year, is to expand and connect with more people in the US. And I'm kind of like doing it outside of Vanessa, sort of. And Fred, I've got to know you a little bit better as well, which is awesome as well, and how you do your run your business and things. So, which is awesome because three people I can now connect with, which will expand and expand and expand. It's been really enjoyable, great conversation and everything. What do I want? Yeah, just more great conversation next time. And it would be fantastic to see some new people as well.
Okay. So, Paul, you don't get off the hook, mate.
Yeah, no. I was happy to go first, you know. I just thought, Fred, you need to be a gentleman, mate. No, I'm old school, right? No, look, the thing that I loved about today is the tone of the group. Just how friendly it is, and you in the background you've got community networking, and it does feel like you're building a community.
And what would you like to get out of next week?
What would I like to get out of next week? look, I enjoyed the conversations. Obviously, I'd like to get to connect with more people next week.
Okay. Well, with that in mind, can I ask everybody to share the links to the group? Obviously, it's a paid group. I've actually set up another payment option, which is probably not really that good for the benefit of people, but it allows people to come in by paying for that particular meeting. But, you know, if they pay to join as a subscription, they'll actually get 12 meetings. So it's just a single payment option. But for $20.22, I think it's well worth it for people to join and get involved. So if everybody can just invite one person, we'll double the group next week. So
yeah, I hate inflation. I mean, the prices have gone up for it.
I know since that, because you only, what was it last year? You only paid 2021.
$2.21, yeah.
All right, guys, I think we're right on the hour and I've enjoyed it.
Okay.
I will be here next week. I'll be doing a lot in the background over the week, trying to get more members in. And I really appreciate everybody coming on board today. Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, thanks.
Cheers.
Thanks,
Bye.
See you guys.
Take care,
Thank you.
guys.
Bye.
Cheers. Bye.